I recently spoke with Adam Moore about his role as a corporate chef working with food manufacturers in product development and innovation from concept to supermarket shelf. Adam has, of course, worked in restaurants and hotels and also spends a lot of time teaching and mentoring our future generations of chefs. So we also talked about the issues facing the restaurant industry. Here is part 2 of my conversation with Adam Moore. What do you think the biggest issue is facing the restaurant industry or the food service industry at the moment?
We've got a couple of things happening at once, and it's not just one thing. And I've been cooking for 26 years, and unfortunately all those issues are the same issues. We have a massive skill shortage because we're not paying chefs right. Unfortunately, we're seeing in the media, we're seeing around us that we're not looking after our hospitality industry, both front of house and back of house. We're not paying people because we have too many different awards. So we need to focus on that. We also need to, at the same time, look at our mental health and our work-life balance for chefs. And because of that, we're not encouraging young people to come through because we haven't made it attractive. We're not paying them well. Compared to other industries, whether it be nursing or carpentry, there's an attraction. There's also a plan of how you go through cooking, through your career, but at the same time, we're paying them well and we're treating them. And it's interesting, I look at it, if the young people aren't tapping me on the shoulder for my job and going, why can I not have your job? Then what am I and the industry not doing to change that? 26 years, it's the same issues. Yeah. Yes, I got out of bed and I chose a career that, yes, concrete floors are horrible and they're bad for arthritis and you get varicose veins and you're tired and you're working on public holidays, but I chose that career and the enjoyment of food is something I can never change. That calling, whatever it's called, that moment, we chose it.
Yep.
And we need to make sure that we pay our people well, and as a business owner as well, making sure that the business owner and the government can have a lot to do with that. Looking at how many awards we have in hospitality, getting rid of 20 of them at least, and simplifying it to make sure that both a business owner is still paying out and making money, but the chef is looked after. And there are chefs, and some people will hate me for saying it, there are chefs out there that do have a work-life balance, and some great examples where they're actually treating their chefs, or businesses are treating the chefs and the front of house staff equally, giving them days off, 4-day work days, finding a solution. Just no more talking, start acting. That's the difference.
It's certainly a tough industry still. It's got a lot of competition and costs of wages.
It's an underappreciated industry. A chef goes through years of training, not comparing to a doctor, but very similar path lines, and we have to learn each and every day. We're still not treated as a profession. You can go to other parts of the world and cookery is a profession. We should be very proud of who we have in this country. It is one of the largest employing industries, hospitality as a whole. We need to stand together. We need to be united together. We can't just have clubs over here, AHA over here, restaurants over here, small business, mum and dad cafes, and it's so diverse. When you look at something like nursing, you've got national, you've got state, and then you've got public hospitals or private. As simple as that. And nurses have the lowest suicide rate. They're paid for the hours that they're working and they're looked after, and there's mental health balance. I'm not saying it's a union, it might be an association, and being proud of who we are. As a body of hospitality people, chefs, front of house, back of house, your barista, whatever it is, we all need to stand together and stand to the government in one voice. And it's harder to do that sometimes, but to stand united and talk about the industry. When we're separated, we talk about our problems individually, but we don't talk collectively. And I think like nursing, they talk collectively, and I use that example because seeing the synergies, and hospitality could do the same. Hospitality and farmers could do the same in this country, and be united. We need the government to look at what we're doing and need to be proud of what we're doing. We've got so many great producers, chefs in this country that give their time up, and we don't appreciate the industry as
This year we've seen a big growth in vegetarian and vegan meals, both in food service and in the retail market. Where do you see the food trends going?
So food trends is something I look at all the time. Now, the veganism trend, yes, it's growing, but it's at a slow rate, and it's still a small proportion of the world, but it is something that's changing. And what I see too is maybe more that flexitarian approach. We will never probably get rid of meat, but meat is escalating in price, whether it be drought or disease. But at the same time, we still need those elements in our diet. So maybe the flexitarian model, where meat might become the side and vegetable will become the main. That's probably the bit, that flexitarian movement. Veganism and allergies. We're the allergy capital of the world, Australia. We need to look at that and why that's changed, and be proud of who we are, but at the same time understand what dietaries are, understand cultural needs. Yes, it's annoying, but at the same time we don't need to make it complex. Probably one of the most prevalent trends that's going to come out probably more recently since bushfires in Australia is knowing your producer. We knew our chefs, but knowing that producer intimately. And I think RAS is a great example of knowing the producer on an intimate level. And I think we're going to get to know that. And I think more importantly, go out to some of these regional places, because there's amazing bakeries, fantastic restaurants. And I don't think they get heroed as much as, say, Sydney or Melbourne or any capital city. Is feature some of these chefs and also encourage young chefs to stay in that region and grow the region. We've got some amazing food bowls. Australia is very lucky. We need to encourage that. So regional, knowing your producers. And I think if we looked at it as well, sustainability is going to be a question across everyone. And I'm not just talking about sustainability of fish or sustainability of our livestock. It needs to be, climate change is a discussion, whether people believe it or not. We're going to have less space for farming. We're going to have, less. Let's look at traditions. Let's look at technologies. What else can we do to change our system? And, it's interesting. Hospitality is probably one of the most future-proof careers, where we can probably guarantee at the moment that a robot's not going to replace us yet, because a machine can't taste.
Yes.
It can execute a recipe, but it can't season. It can't taste. It may construct something, but only a human can change the rest. So I think that's where we need to be very proud of all that and not forget who we are. And I think also one of the most important skills for everyone is remembering some of those skills and crafts that we've forgotten about, charcuterie and fermenting and getting behind them and understanding the science as well, to be able to create new products for the future.
Fair enough. Eat better, eat less perhaps.
Virtually like that. Eat better, you can do. And flavours, there's some amazing vegetarian books talking about incorporating those flavours. Use your mushrooms, use your root vegetables for stronger, intense flavours. Look at those first before creating something just for the sake of it.
Thank you, Adam, again.
Thank you.
Muchly appreciated.
No problem.